day for Kenya. It's a day, Mr. Speaker, that Kenyans are alert everywhere, because what the decision we are going to make in this House, Mr. Speaker, affects their life in its entirety, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, having gone through all this bill, when I tried to align with the roadside advertisements, the Speaker pronouncements by the head of state that is going to take care of people who earn 30,000 and below. 30,000 below. 1.5 million workers in this country, Mr. Speaker. Those aspirations, Mr. Speaker, is not taken care of here. I've gone through it. If this government wants to walk the talk, 1.5 million Kenyans who get 30,000 below have a dependency rate of 10 million who rely on them, Mr. Speaker. If it is not found here, this is the only tax law that comes to this House for us to pass. No one, including the minister, no one, including the director, can propose a tax law without this House passing the tax law, Mr. Speaker. So we are here, Mr. Speaker, to actually find out if it is not here, this thing must be thrown and rejected in totality. Yes. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, when you go to it,
Honorable Majimbo, order. There is a point of order.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I raise on the point of order, Honorable Speaker, on matters relevance. Honorable Speaker, what we are discussing today here is the report by the Finance Committee that is already before us. We are not discussing what is not in the report by the Finance Committee, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the issues raised by the Honorable Member for Kabuchai, that pronouncements were made by His Excellency the President somewhere in the roadside, it is the responsibility of this House to legislate, Honorable Speaker. It is not the head of state to legislate, Honorable Speaker. If he made his pronouncements is there, at the point we will bring them here, Honorable Speaker, we will have an opportunity. We will have an opportunity to discuss.
Take your seat.
Honorable Speaker,
take your seat.
Honorable Speaker, you will not allow head class, Honorable Speaker. This is the House of debate. Honorable Speaker, this is the House of debate.
Take your seat. Take your seat, Honorable Soro. Order. The Honorable Majimbo. The Honorable Jack Wamboka. This House will listen to the Honorable Majimbo in silence. Yes. The Honorable Majimbo will remain order. The Honorable Majimbo will remain relevant in his submissions to ensure, because there's no law, and you know it very well. We are not in the old constitution. We have a new constitution that give parliament powers. We don't order. We do not need the president to do anything for us to discuss any matter in this House. It belongs elsewhere, and you know that very well. So let's maintain decorum, and I expect all of us to be decorous in this morning sitting so that you can proceed with doing. Order. The Honorable Majimbo will be heard without any further point of order. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to be tempted, because I'm a very good singer. I don't want to be tempted to sing the song that Kenyans sang for Honorable Soro in Kusi Stadium, because it touches on his private part. Mr. Speaker, when we come to this bill, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, exactly, Mr. Speaker, Part A, Section 1, number 169, Mr. Speaker, which touches on mitumba in Kiswahili. In English, Mr. Speaker, it is written here as worn clothings and other worn articles. Worn clothings. Mr. Speaker, this product has been moved from zero rated to tax exempt. What does that mean, Mr. Speaker? We went to school properly. We know when you cannot claim any tax on it, then you will pass it to the consumer. That is what we, Mr. Speaker, the price of mitumba will increase. This House, Mr. Speaker, does not. Mr. Speaker, we must be honest on what we are bringing here with the members of this country. Mr. Speaker, when I come to, Mr. Speaker, we are reading, Mr. Speaker, and you are seeing me referring to every clause. Mr. Speaker, when you come to the non-resident landlord, Mr. Speaker, that article here, Mr. Speaker, they say that actually the imposition of non-resident rental income tax. Mr. Speaker, you realize that here it says that actually a tax to be known as non-residential rental income tax shall be payable by that non-resident person at the rate specified in the third schedule. Mr. Speaker, when you go in the third schedule, and I've gone to this very properly here, the third schedule, Mr. Speaker, the only relative close to that is Mr. Speaker, the only clause that is close to that, Mr. Speaker, is in respect of a rent premium or similar considerations for the use of occupation or immovable property. 30%, Mr. Speaker, is payable. We want this committee to tell us, before the 30% that is imposing, what was that percentage before? It was 7%. Where the tenants were withholding, they are withholding the money for the purpose of KRA. It was 7%. In this document, Mr. Speaker, we imposed 30%. 30%, Mr. Speaker, means what? If you are paying rent of 10,000, Mr. Speaker, you will have to submit 3,000, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Soro, allow the Honorable Majimbo to finish his submission. You'll respond to him. You'll respond to him. Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I will further inject, Mr. Speaker. When I'm injecting this sense, Mr. Speaker, the whole nation is watching us. This house is making the law for posterity. We must put Kenyans in their right position. And Mr. Speaker, Kenyans are not fools. When they watch and we read here, and we say that we have not imposed any tax on Mitumba, here on the floor of the house, and yes, it's put here in clause 169. Mr. Speaker, this puts us in a very awkward position. If Mr. Speaker, I heard well, the minister also reiterated that those Kenyans who earn 30% and below, 30,000 and below, 30,000 and below, they were going to be exempted from pay as you earn tax. Mr. Speaker, any law that deals with the tax must be brought here. And it must be put in here. It is nowhere. We are saying, and that's why, Mr. Speaker, we are saying, we are telling this government, Mr. Speaker, to be a one-term government. It is going to be one-term government because, Mr. Speaker, it doesn't carry the aspirations of the Kenyan. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, I want to request as follows, because I know all of us are emotive. Let's just be factual. You know, I'm listening to Honorable Majimbo, and he refers to clause 169. And you know it's not there. So, order, just sit down. I will, every member in this house will have their say. In fact, I want to request the following, that because all of us want to speak, if you could limit your intervention to 5-6 minutes, I don't want to control it myself, so that every member is able to get a chance to speak. I'll be very happy. What I will not do, and I want members to be decorous, I'll not stop any member, whether they're opposing or proposing, from saying what they want to say. And that's why I want all of us to have our time and please maintain decorum. The next member on the line is Mark Mwenje.
Oh, thank you, Honorable Speaker. First of all, Honorable Speaker, I rise to raise some very serious issues against this finance bill, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, one of the issues that I have is Section 35, Honorable Speaker, of this finance bill. Honorable Speaker, this specific section imposes excise duty on cell phones, which seems to have moved from the point of importation to the point of activation. Now, Mr. Speaker, one of the issues that I have with this is that the government is not losing any money. Why are we changing from the point of importation, where you pay duty on 50 cell phones, but at the point of activation, when it's limited to a specific cell phone? My concern, Honorable Speaker, is with the Commissioner, because at the point of activation, then you tie this phone to a specific person, and there is a because you've not defined, and Honorable Speaker, you as a lawyer and yourself, you know that if you don't provide a definition of this activation, what will be put there? What if you put in a spyware? What if at a certain point you can shut down a specific cell phone belonging to specific someone? So, Honorable Speaker, for me, this section 35, I don't see the point to it, because to me the money is the same. So why are you changing it? Honorable Speaker, section 45, this on the Tax Procedures Act. Now this one I don't want to belabor it because it was spoken about yesterday, the issue of agency notice, Honorable Speaker. And I just want, I hope the chair would be here, but the administration of fair hearing is a constitutional right. Even if you delete that provision, even if you amend it, the majority leader was here, Honorable Kaluma, they were very specific on how they think this has been abused. But it doesn't matter, it's been provided for under the Constitution. So even if you delete this provision, I can assure you somebody will go to court and this whole thing will collapse. So we might as well not play around with something that we both know is going against the Constitution, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, under section 23, in the same act, Honorable Speaker. Now, this is on capital gains tax. Now, the threshold, whenever you have a transaction that derives value in Kenya, usually for capital gains tax is at the point of where you reach a threshold of 50%, Honorable Speaker. That is the standard within East Africa and quite a number of African countries. Now, this is lowering it with this amendment to almost 1%. If you look at our income tax, it provides it at about 20%. So, to me, what you will do is that you'll make all these investors who come to Kenya and at times are exempt from this capital gains tax because the value gained in Kenya does not achieve the 50% threshold. All these people are going to go to our neighbors. So who's losing? So all those investment firms in Kenya, all those law firms that are working here, all those funds that work in Kenya, the insurance companies, all those are going to start losing business right here in Kenya. Now, Mr. Speaker, one of the things that yesterday, if you'll remember, and once again, I'm happy the Honorable Ruto was here because I believe he mentioned this issue. Taxes should be predictable. That's what the chair said yesterday. And any accountant, anyone who is in the tax regime says that taxes should be predictable. It means 5-10 years. Anybody investing in Kenya should have an idea how the tax regime is going to be. Now tell me this, Honorable Speaker. 1.5% withholding tax on scrap metal, which the Honorable Mbadi, when he was highlighting the budget, mentioned right here. It's in this bill. Explain to me, Honorable Speaker, how predictable it is to impose a tax in 2024, to remove it in 2025, to bring it back in 2026. How predictable is that? In 3 years, you've changed the tax 3 times. Now, let me tell you what's going to happen. Some of these companies, Honorable Speaker, for me, I'm talking even about my constituency. One of the largest steel-making companies, Tonoka, is in my constituency. What it means is that they will have to start reducing the number of people who are working there. So it directly impacts the jobs that are there, Honorable Speaker. And I'll explain as I move forward, Honorable Speaker. Now, when it comes to raw materials, which I also used, Honorable Speaker, allow me actually to talk about coal first. We've now imposed 5% excise duty on coal, which some cement companies, some steel companies use. Now, that means, first of all, you should all know, coal is not available in Kenya. We import it. We import coal. So, in Kenya, now, at the current rate, we are at 9.5%. Uganda is at 1.5%. Tanzania is at 2.5%. All these countries are importing coal. Now, when you consider what has been happening, because, Honorable Speaker, coal is used as a substitute for energies. So at times, and you know the fuel prices, Honorable Speaker, some of my companies which have been using diesel, one of these companies in my constituency, when electricity was lost for 2 days, they incurred a cost of 3 million. Electricity in 2 days. Fuel, one of my companies uses fuel, about 248 liters of diesel per month for fuel in transport costs. So when diesel went up by 46 shillings, that's 11,408,000 per month. Now, even if that amount has reduced, you can prorate it. You can see the amount of expenses are there. And then you increase the cost of coal as well. Honorable Speaker, on raw materials, because raw materials, this has changed, especially in steel and other sectors. So there's a levy of about 17.5%. Now allow me to stick to the steel companies, Honorable Speaker. Local billets, manufactured locally, $650. Imported billets, $490. The wire rods in Kenya, the taxes that are charged, you've seen those wire rods all around, is 47% tax in Kenya. Billets is 22%. When we go to Uganda, 1.5% Uganda, 1.5% Tanzania, 1.9% in Rwanda. So what does this mean? Honorable Speaker, it means the construction industry, everything is going to go up. So even in the affordable housing that we are talking about, by increasing these taxes, those affordable houses, the cost of constructing those very affordable houses, the prices are going to go up. Now, what does this mean, Honorable Speaker? The companies that are operating in Kenya, the cement companies, the steel companies, what they've done is that they're opening small operations across the border in Uganda and Tanzania, and the companies in Kenya stop manufacturing and become trading companies. Honorable Speaker, 25 steel milling companies from Kenya have left and have gone to Tanzania and Uganda, including one company from my constituency called EMCO, and even steel structures that have now gone to trading rather than manufacturing. These are jobs that have been lost right here in Nairobi, right here in my constituency, and it's because of some of these taxes that are coming up. So that means, Honorable Speaker, some of our companies have now become trading companies. Honorable Speaker, there is a provision for ESC carve-out goods, Honorable Speaker. This ESC carve-out is for goods that have originated within the East Africa community. By removing this specific carve-out, Honorable Speaker, we are violating the very same treaties that we have with our East African countries. So we are violating bilateral agreements that we have with the East African community. That means very soon, some of the privileges we have with trading with Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda, this is going to change. So why should our finance bill violate the ESC carve-out that was agreed bilaterally between all these countries, Honorable Speaker? Honorable Speaker, the issue of zero rating and exempt, we need to clarify. You know, we sit here and we say, we've exempted you from tax, we've exempted you from this, we've exempted. Honorable Speaker, we all know zero rating is better than exempt. So if some of these imported clothes, worn out clothes, we've moved them from zero rating to exempt, it means you cannot claim input VAT. And this is where the devil in the details is. That means the cost of those Mutumba clothes will go up. Finally, Honorable Speaker, when it comes to these rental houses, I'm a member of parliament from Nairobi. Embakasi West is full of rental houses, the entire constituency. Some of these people are foreigners, they are non-residents, they are not here in Kenya. If you affect the cost of rental prices the way it's been discussed, it means you're increasing rents for all the people living in my constituency, Honorable Speaker. And for that reason, and many others, Honorable Speaker, don't tell the others, unfortunately, I cannot support this bill, and we'll be bringing a lot of amendments so that we can ensure we don't burden the Kenyans that are already.
Thank you so much. Honorable members, I'm happy to listen to Honorable Monje because he spoke about 10 minutes without attacking anybody, without going outside script. He's done so well. If we did that, all of us, we'll have a very good debate. The Honorable Jaku Amboka, this is your chance.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to speak. But first, let me make this clear, that we will debate in the way we deem fit and necessary, as long as it conforms to the laws of this House. So nobody should lecture us, Honorable Speaker, how to align our debates, how to debate, and on that, Honorable Soro, keep quiet. Honorable Speaker, I rise to oppose the Finance Bill 2026 in its present form. And let me say from the outset what this debate, Honorable Speaker, is not about.